afternoon to everyone. I start again. We have half an hour to discuss with this fantastic female panel, and it's not a coincidence that we have only women on this panel. The first reason is that my Director General was supposed to moderate the panel, is not with us anymore because he had other commitments. The second reason is that participating to the R&I week, we have an R&I week where we had to talk a lot about investments. We thought it would be very interesting to have females talking about investments on R&I. And this is why today we have fantastic panelists that they are going to share their views with us, starting with Eva Ordeca Paino, who is State Secretary for Ministry for Research and Innovation from Spain, Secretary General, sorry, for Research and Spanish Ministry for Science, Innovation and Universities. And she traveled all the way from Spain in order to be with us today. Thank you very much, Eva.
Thank you.
Then my colleague, Marie Donay, Director in SecGen Recovery, in charge of Recovery and Resilience Facility. And you know very well what the Recovery and Resilience Facility did for us, for you, after COVID. And last but not least, and now this is the difficulty for me with the name, and I hope I will get it right, Reinhilde Vögelers. From KU11 and also advisor to the Flemish government. And don't forget that we are under the Belgian presidency. So I hope that Reinhilde will tell us all of how she's advising as well the Flemish government. But why we are here today? We are here today to celebrate, first of all, the 40 years of the Horizon Europe program. And many of you that you are following the program, you are very proud of what this program did for research and innovation in Europe. And it is essential that we continue to finance researchers and innovators in Europe through the framework program. But the question is it enough? Is it spending through Horizon Europe program enough to address the challenges that we have today on new technologies, digital and green transformation, on promoting the technological leadership of Europe? What the statistics shows, and I'm sure that you are following very closely the statistics, is that Europe, R&I investments, lag behind our competitors and trade partners. I could put both: United States, Japan, South Korea, and even China. And for those that are following the R&I policy, you know that we have a target, a 3% target of R&D investment. And this target has been one of the points for discussion at the European Council 2 years ago, where the President and the Prime Ministers, they agreed that they have to do more to reach the target. But where are we now? Where do we stand? We are on R&D intensity, which is about 2.2% of GDP, whereas in the United States, we are about 3.4%, and South Korea above 4%. We know that most of it, if not all of our member states, they need to increase the R&I investments, and they need to do more about reforms, structural reforms in their R&I system in order to be more efficient and impactful. So, what we want to discuss today, we want to see what needs to be done more on R&I investments and reforms, and what we need to do more in order to demonstrate and to contribute more to the competitiveness of Europe through R&D investments and reforms. So, I'll start, if you allow me, with the expert, the professor in the field, and then I will move to the policymaker. So, Reinhilde, you have devoted, I was told, most of your entire career, both in academia and policymaking, to study the relationship between R&I and economic growth. In the last years, thanks to the rise of the artificial intelligence, digitalization, we have been expecting a new El Dorado for innovation. Unfortunately, the productivity growth continues to be stubbornly low. Do you think it is a question of time for us to reach the El Dorado? And how do you see the European R&I? Are we in a good position? Can we be better? What we have to do?
Yeah. Hello. Does it work? Yep. Okay. So thanks for these challenging questions. It was also already addressed by Commissioner Gentiloni. Of course, we care about research and innovation because that's one of the major drivers to increase our competitiveness and our long-term sustainable growth, out of which we can actually deliver the services to our citizenship here. What we see is that we do have excellence in terms of science. We really have pockets of science, certainly even compared to the US and even compared to China, and certainly at the frontier, we are actually doing very well. But what we really are struggling for, and that's already since a long time, is translating those pockets of excellence into innovations and then also competitiveness. So that's really where the bottleneck is, and why also our R&D to GDP is basically a gap on the business side here. So translating our top science and excellent science into innovations that work on markets. And then, indeed, if you look at what the major sectors are that drive that innovation, so digital technologies are a very important sector here where lots of innovative activities take place. There we have already since a long time really running behind. And if you see the trends over time, we're not able to catch up. And that's partly also because those games in digital sectors is really one of winner take all. You need to have scale. If you have scale, you can continue to grow. And it's very hard for companies to catch up on this here, and that's where Europe really continuously is lagging behind here. So I think the game is really for Europe to find the areas where it does have strength and where it can build also these leadership positions, these leading positions in sectors where it has comparative advantages in other areas. But also these other areas will require the use of digital technologies and particularly also AI technologies here, because that's really a platform technology here that we will have to use that also in other technologies. And sectors where we do have quite a lot of strength first is the biohealth area here. There we are very strong in terms of science, and even without the UK, but with the UK, of course, even stronger here. But again, the problem is that we do have also strong incumbent innovation companies here in health, but we have really a hard time for new young ideas that can ride on AI, on biotech, on the new technology revolutions in biopharma to reach to critical leading scale here. And also, if you look at the recent evidence, we really are running behind because we're missing that creative destruction part in our innovation ecosystem here. We do have strong incumbents, but they're not sufficiently challenged by new companies here, because these new companies really face a problem of scaling up in Europe, and that's because we still don't have a single market, single VC market, but also a single market, particularly in health, with still our reimbursement policies to be very national, and that makes it really very hard for our young companies to grow to critical scale and challenge our incumbent firms. And now we do see that even our incumbent firms are really running behind our US companies. And that's really something very pivotal also for our European innovation ecosystem. If we're losing out on health, where we used to have strength, that will be really difficult. Another very important sector for our innovation system in Europe was transport, automobiles. There we did have, and we continue to have really very big incumbent players also, and we are still, in terms of R&D, spending quite a lot in that sector here. but also there, the trends in the future will be much more in terms of autonomous, connected cars, and again, the use of AI and digital technologies, even in that sector, will be very important. And so whether we will be able to continue to keep on having a leadership in that pivotal sector for Europe here, again, will depend on how well we will be able to adopt these AI technologies in those areas where we have comparative advantage and translate that into comparative advantage for the future here. So to answer your question, should we be positive or negative? I think we have to believe in the strength of Europe to be able to do that here, but the challenge is not easy. And in order for us to really be able to address these challenges, I think we really need to put much more weight on the single market that we need to have, the large integrated market that we need to have for our companies to be able to play that game on a global scale.
Thank you very much, Reinhild. You know about European Innovation Council as well, of course. We have been talking a lot yesterday about what we can do to scale up companies. This is what Europe puts in the offer. We have the New STEP initiative, so we do a lot, but of course, probably is not enough, and we do need the support from the member states on that, if I may say, and that brings me to Marie. Marie, you are director in a newly established DG service, and you know better than all of us what the Recovery and Resilience Facility has been doing in order to respond to the EU to fight the negative effects of the COVID and of pandemia. What we have observed from our side, also following the R&D investments through the RRF, is that it has played an important role. And we have done an analysis with the colleagues in DG R&I that more or less 47 billion euros from RRF have been mobilized for R&D, for R&I investments. Why do you think member states have been prioritized R&I in the context of the resilience and recovery plans? And how do you see the implementation of those measures, where we stand?
Thank you, Anna. And indeed, as you said, RRF was established in 21. And in RRF, your recovery and resilience. And of course, the primary goal was buffering the shock of the pandemic. But very importantly, the RRF is also about building resilience, preparing for the future, and really making sure our economies are preparing for that sustainable development and resilience. So, of course, in that context, we need investment and reform, and I'll give some examples concretely also from member states. And the reform are really key to build up that medium, long-term resilience and really the structure and the governance of it, beyond the clear cash injection. So obviously, as you said, research innovation are key in the overall objective of resilience of the RRF. It fits perfectly well with the objective of facilitating green, digital transition, strategic autonomy, competitiveness, productivity. And member states have known for a long time, because we have a long history of country-specific recommendation, they've known for a long time that they needed to invest more in R&I. Actually, we've been looking at our CSRs, so those country-specific recommendations, and already in 2019-20, before the pandemic, all of them had a recommendation on R&I, mostly focused on investment, to really have investment-related economic policy and fostering research and innovation, but also on reform. Because also Reinhild mentioned, it's really also key to have the structure and to lift the barriers that are hampering R&I operation, making sure that innovation ecosystem, effectiveness of R&I policy, and also the transition from academic research to companies, in particular SMEs, access to finance, all this is really key into having a long-term strategy and effectiveness. So in the RRF, following on those CSRs, we now have more than 400 measures in all plans. So in every member state, in all plans, we have an R&I measure of one form or another, either in a direct R&I component or through another policy area, but where there is a dimension of research. It is, according to our calculation, a bit more than 60 billion of the RRF budget that goes to R&I, and approximately 20 billion on green transition only, and 13 on digital. So that's a bit where we are. Now, to give you some examples, and maybe Eva will also develop for Spain, so I don't spend too much time on Spain maybe, but a couple of, let's say, thematic example of investment first. So R&I investment. We have three big themes: green, digital, and health. Henil mentioned health already. So in the area of green, we have plenty of projects in the plan on energy. For example, research in hydrogen solution. On environment, developing new environment technologies and green technologies. On smart and sustainable mobility, obviously, electromobility. Circular economy, new recycling technologies. So all of this you find in the plans. Similarly, on digital, you mentioned AI already, Heinil. Of course, a lot of this indeed is in advanced technologies. AI, microprocessor, cloud, quantum computing, cybersecurity, all of that you find in numerous plans. And then on health, to finish there, we develop through the plan a lot of alternative cancer treatment technology, an alternative process for nuclear medicine, and other precise medicine technologies. So these are examples of investment. Now, a couple of examples of reforms we have in the plan, because again, that's the long-term resilience. That's where you really change your institutional setup for the long-term, medium-term, long-term impact. First, a lot of reform dedicated to reducing fragmentation in the scientific research system, trying to consolidate research institutions. There is a very good example in Spain. I leave it to you. So, also in other member states. Then we also have in many plans, for example in France, in Latvia and Romania, some efforts to increase the attractiveness of research careers, working on recruitment, salary, mobility, making sure there is a career path, a career model that makes those scientific career and staff attracted into the shortage of human resource in science and technology. Then there is also a lot of effort on reducing administrative burden and lifting all the barriers to developing R&I activities, especially related to funding. So many reforms, for example, in Portugal, where there has been a revision of legal framework and institutional framework to facilitate public and private investment in R&I, using funding instrument, financial instrument, having predictability and stability in the design of this instrument, so to have a multi-annual view on the financing on the R&I activities. Then there is also a lot on technology transfer to facilitate the transfer of knowledge from academic research into the innovation in private companies. So these are the type of reforms we have. And in terms of implementation, and then I'll finish here, we are, of course, having different pace of implementation across member states. Some have made already significant progress, already allocating funds and following the policies and already reaping the fruits. Others are still in the planning and preparation phase. So we are having a close monitoring and evaluation of all that at EU level and national level, because you mentioned those synergies, obviously. And we are really trying to maintain a momentum to have those results and boost the recovery and the resilience in the long term. So we have already assessed or are in the process of assessment of 1/3 of the famous milestones and targets related to the several hundreds and more milestones and targets that we have related to R&I measures. 130 have been assessed, fulfilled, money paid, and a bit more than 100 are in the process. So 1/3 is really already quite advanced in all those milestones and targets which you know are organizing the sequence in all those reforms. That's quite an achievement already. We have, in terms of completed reform, for example, one which is completed in Slovakia with a full transformation of the Slovak Academy of Science, transformation of the Research Institute, and enabling multi-source financing, so to spur also the cooperation between private and public. That's an example. A similar example in Italy with the restructuring of 30 research institutions following the National Plan for Research and Innovation. There has been a lot of progress in Spain, including in the sustainable automotive domain, which Heinil mentioned already. And I'll finish here with another project which is close to our heart, which is cross-border. The IPCI, those important projects of common European interest, where we have an example in Austria, for example, where they have already selected 8 projects on hydrogen and 6 on microelectronics. So that's where we are now. And we are fully committed to press ahead and make sure that by the end of the RRF, we complete all of this.
Excellent. I can see, Marie, you are full spin on implementation, and you are very excited about this new instrument, which actually, if I think from the perspective of research innovation and European research area, is an instrument that gives us the possibility, on one side to do indeed investments on new technologies, and on the other side, to promote the reforms that have been very well embedded in the context of our discussion in European research area about careers of researchers, mobility of researchers, attracting investments on R&I. So very well, I'm pretty pleased to hear. And that brings me now to Eva. My colleagues tell me, and I think Mary will confirm, that Spain is one of the countries that has done better I'm not going to say the best, a very good use of the Recovery and Resilience Facility to put forward an ambitious investment and reform agenda for R&I. Could you please tell us a few of these key measures and what else you think that your country can do in order to boost the R&I system?
First of all, I would like to start by thanking you, Anna, for inviting me to take part on this panel, and also for giving me the floor. And also to my colleagues here at the panel, because they really make a very interesting contribution to the panel, and also for stressing how Spain is been tackling, and also just stressing some of our initiatives in the country. For me, it's an honor to be here and to be present in this panel, in this prestigious panel, at the time when innovation and research play a crucial role in the future of our region. The discussion here is more relevant than ever. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the organizers for providing us with this invaluable opportunity to share ideas and perspectives on this crucial topic. As Secretary General of Research, I'm fully committed to strengthening our research and innovation capacities in Europe, because we are not alone. We are a big and important community, as you mentioned, with important and decisive strengths, while recognizing a strategic importance of investment in research and development to ensure not only our economic competitiveness, but also our long-term social progress and well-being. As you said, I would like to say that Spain was the best, but I'm going to be humble. But as you mentioned, it's one of the countries that has done better using this recovery and resilience facility. To prove that, I would like to share with you all some reflections and proposals about the measures implemented by our Ministry of Science, Innovation and Universities. All of them within the framework of the Recovery, Transformation and Resilience Plan, specifically in our component 17. Promotion, one of the first steps or measures was the promotion of collaboration and co-creation. This component, the component 17 of the plan, includes the creation of public and private collaboration programs to boost research and innovation in strategic sectors. These programs promote collaboration between universities, research centers, and industry is the triple helix, facilitating the transfer of knowledge and technologies. The second measure I would like to stress is the strategic investment in priority areas, as you mentioned, Marie. The ministry is prioritizing investment in research and development areas identified in our component of the plan, such as artificial intelligence, digital health, and energy transition. These investments are directed towards projects and programs that have the potential to generate a significant impact on Europe's competitiveness and sustainability. The third measure is the promotion of open access and knowledge dissemination. Our plan includes initiatives to promote open access to research and ensure the free circulation of knowledge and scientific results. This includes the creation of open access repositories and the promotion of open data policies in research funded by public funds. The fourth measure would be the investment in research infrastructures. The plan includes investments in the modernization and expansion of research infrastructures across Spain, ensuring that we have state-of-the-art facilities to carry out high-impact research projects. And last but not least, the promotion of talent and training. In addition to the specific measures mentioned, the plan includes scholarship programs, international mobility, so we can say like it's brain circulation. We want the talent to go around, and continuous training for researchers and professionals in the sector with the aim of promoting talent and the training of the field of research and innovation. And of course, there's no need to mention that we want also to retain our own talent. It is worth noting that the recently approved Science Act, that it was approved last 2 years ago, September 2022, the legal framework for the promotion and the financing of scientific and technical research in Spain. This act aims to strengthen the science, technology and innovation system, ensuring the stability and adequate financing of research in our country. It guarantees for the first time a stable and growing public financing of the R&D and I, with the objective of reaching 1.25% of the GDP in 2030. In 2021, it was around 0.6%. Moreover, it provides a stable framework to promote research excellence, transfer of knowledge and technologies, and improve coordination among the different actors. Additionally, it is relevant to mention one of our key programs that is called ATRAE, which is Attraction and Retention of Talent in R&D, by the ministry, which offers opportunities to attract and retain high-level researchers in our country, thus strengthening our research and innovation base. It's important for us not only to recover the talent that we lost, but also to be attractive for international researchers. We all build our scientific system all together. So I would like just to end up to finish by affirming that I'm firmly convinced that by adopting a comprehensive and collaborative approach, we can boost our research capacities in Europe. We are stronger all together and ensure a prosperous and sustainable future for generations to come. I would like to thank you all once again for these opportunities to share these ideas and perspectives with you all. I'm eager to continue this conversation and work together to achieve our common goals of promoting excellence in research and innovation across Europe. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Eva. You see how enthusiastic are women around this table, huh? So, I think we need to finish, but before finishing, I would like to have a last question to all of you. You know, very soon we are going to receive a Draghi report on competitiveness. There is a lot of discussion about how we can boost European competitiveness. And, of course, you can imagine we are having this festival, the celebration of the 40 years of the program for research and innovation, because we do believe that research and innovation is a key part of European competitiveness. Having said that, given the scarcity of financial resources, you know it's not going to be an easy discussion. Can you help us in that? So, starting with Reinhilde, what should we say about R&I?
Yeah, I think the obvious way to answer that as an economist is to, of course, the amount of investment and public investment we will put in the R&I system will be important, of course, but what matters is how effective this actually will be and whether what we put in is proportional to what the effects is what we get out. And the effects are really to see the extent to which private investments will be leveraged out of the public investment we will put in that here, and that private investment needs to have the right incentives, and the incentives are that all these investments will actually pay off in the end in terms of commercial success, but also for society. So that's why we also need to monitor that in terms of effectiveness here. And for that, I think the reforms is also a very important part of the agenda. But unlike what Marie was emphasizing, the reforms at member states level, I think it's really important at the EU level to really go for the framework conditions that are important for firms to have that incentive, and that is really access to large markets, access to skills, access to finance and to risk finance. So that's all dimensions of single market here. And that, I think, is a very important reform that we need to have also at the EU level. That's an agenda for member states to work at the EU level. Another point I'd like to point out is that we see increasingly also, because of the challenges which are multidimensional, climate change, polarization and whatever, that there is also, in terms of how we do R&I policies, way more directed here. And for instance, we also saw that also in Flanders, that a lot of the RFF money went into directed for clean tech, for digital here. Of course, that makes sense because we need to extra support that, but that will only be effective if we also don't neglect the bottom-up programs that we also still need. They're very important here because we need a deep pool. Is that for us?
I think it's for us. Huh? Oh. So, can you give us 2 minutes more to finish? They don't give us. No, we can continue.
So I can keep. So just having a much more balanced R&I framework that doesn't only go for the targeting but also for the bottom-up.
Great. Thank you very much. Marie.
Okay, I'm also an economist, so I cannot agree more than underline framework condition, incentive framework reform, national level, EU level. In general, single market integration, indeed, having those strategies really anchored. You need public money, yes. We're doing our best on RRF. And certainly, the first challenge is to spend it all, if I can say it in a very abrupt manner. The clock is ticking. We really need a momentum of implementation. Beyond that, of course, and we'll continue to need public money, but we need to leverage also private money. And there again, it's going to be the single market, capital market union, and so on.
Great. Eva.
I'm going to be very short.
Yes.
I mean, I think it's a question of also education and dissemination. We need to bring science into the society to make them believe that we need science. Why we need science? Because science and development are the engine for any country. Without development and without science, there's no future for our coming generations. So we need to be all together, and we need to bring and reach the society to help us to build a better world based on science.
Great, thank you all of you. The message for you to take out is that we need more science for a better society, for developments in Europe, framework conditions to attract private finance, and to make joint investments with public finance. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hello, how are you?
Thank you very much, ladies. It's been a pleasure.
I know. That's I know
Ay, sí, por favor.
Thank you so much. I think we have to continue this discussion.
I'll send you a mail and
Yes, from the speaker.
Great, thanks a lot.
Mine is from
Thank you.
I just
I hope I see.
Okay. Voila. Yeah, there's one. Yeah, the microphone. I didn't saw it. Yeah. Thanks.
Wow, no? What is your... So what I really like
please. Yes?
I think it's a mistake from our technician. Yeah. Ik heb zelf ook gehoord hè, dat toen als floor manager met de moderator van praten.
A lot, yes, I know. Thank you very much. Okay, it was very good, very good. Okay.
Daar kan mij